Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Dumpster Diaries. I am Moses Wartooth and I'm here with
Justin Allen.
And we got a lot of shit to talk about as usual. So Justin, what do you got for us today?
Man, I gotta start off. I gotta get something off my chest, dude. This guy's been popping up my feed left and right, and I don't know a whole lot about him. I do know a little bit, but Andrew Tate.
Oh yeah, he's getting interviewed by all kinds of people on the left and right. He's talking a bunch of shit.
So I gotta know. So did this guy go to prison or because it was human trafficking allegedly?
Allegedly. Right? So he's an American citizen, but he lives in Romania. So he got arrested in Romania in his mansion. They came and took him to prison. So I think he spent like 90 days or give or take in prison, in a Romanian prison. And then eventually he did get released. He was on house arrest for a while. And then now he just recently got off of house arrest.
But his brother was like wrapped up in it too, right?
Yeah. Tristan Tate, I believe is his name.
Okay. So what's the deal with it? I mean, where did this guy get all his money? Like, how did he become famous? That's what I want to know.
I don't know. I think from my first hearing about him, it was like you remember a couple years ago, there was like a big push on alpha male. They were having like schools and you could pay these fucking dudes $2,000 to go to a camp and get yelled at and try to be like, oh, be a fucking man.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah, I know what you're talking.
I think he was in on some of that shit for a while. But that was kind of his agenda. But he did do some other stuff too. But I think that was when I first heard of him.
Well, I did see something that he runs. It's called like a hustle school or something like that.
Yeah,
it's a school. It's like I think it's $50 a month you can subscribe to, and it's like literally Andrew Tate and then like all these rich assholes telling you how you can be like them, you know.
And they literally just push you onto their affiliate links of shit that they already own, so you just waste more of your fucking money.
Just make sure you buy all your shit from this.
Yeah.
You know? Well, you know, like one thing I did read about Tate that I actually thought was kind of interesting, and you know, first and foremost, for anyone listening, right, I'm probably about to shit on this guy pretty big. So, like, here we go. Do I think that he's a successful businessman? Sure.
Obviously. I mean, you can't deny that.
Yeah. You know, he was talking about like clips that I saw where he like owns and drives McLarens and stuff and has mansions and all this other shit. And so like from what I've seen, obviously he's a successful dude, right? But I think, well, like from what I was reading, okay, where he really started making the big bucks was those casinos apparently he opened in Romania.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And he, I watched him on like a little podcast and he kind of explained a little bit how he got into that. And apparently he basically didn't really have the money to open a casino because, you know, a casino is going to cost you what, $1 billion?
Yeah. I mean, a little bit less than Romania, I would imagine, but still a lot of money.
Yeah. And, so from what I was reading, he apparently, through some associates of his, got in contact with some high-ranking Eastern European mafia members.
Okay.
Like guys who like ran these crime families, right? And he went and approached them and was like, hey, I want to open a casino.
Mm-hmm.
And essentially they were like, and now this crime family, specific crime family, I don't know their name, don't know anything about them, whatever. His story could be complete bullshit. Just put it out there.
Yeah. But
apparently this crime family owns like 400 casinos all throughout Eastern Europe.
Okay.
And so they look at Andrew
So
Tate,
why would they, if they already had all that, why would they even want to fuck with him in the first place?
Getting there, dude.
Okay.
So Andrew Tate apparently cut him a deal.
Mm-hmm.
Was like, hey, look, you front all the money. He'll take all the risk, right? And he guaranteed that they would get paid like a percentage every month, regardless if the casino was profitable or not.
Oh, okay.
And each casino that Tate opened would be open next to one of their competitors.
Okay.
So it was almost like a no-lose situation.
So he was taking a pretty big gamble, I guess. If he didn't have the money to front it in the first place, but he was also saying like, I will guarantee you set dollar amount a month.
Yeah, and what do you think those guys are going to do when that check bounces?
Oh, they're coming for your nuts. They're going to cut those things.
Dude, I bet those guys, those Eastern Bloc criminals, especially now, I bet they make like our fucking career criminals look like a bunch of bitches, dude.
Oh, I'm sure.
You know?
Yeah.
They still remember like governments collapsing and shit.
Yeah.
Over there, you know?
They are not afraid to stone somebody. Like, they'll get you.
Yeah, I guess. And then from my understanding, I guess him and his brother were tied into either they owned a company or they helped run a company that managed OnlyFans girls.
Oh yeah, digital pimps.
Yeah, and then that apparently is how he got pushed into the human trafficking charges that he received in Romania.
Well, I watched an interview of him and Tucker Carlson, and he explained his
That was with his brother, right?
What do you mean?
The interview with Tucker Carlson.
No, it was Andrew.
Really? Okay.
I think he probably interviewed both of them, but
I didn't mean to cut you off. I saw a clip where it did have his brother on there.
He probably interviewed them both.
Yeah.
But anyways, I watched the one where he interviewed Andrew, and he said that the allegations against him for this specific reason, or the reason why they took him to prison, was they alleged that he was coercing women into making TikTok accounts, and that he was taking the money off of that. And he was like, I'm a multimillionaire already. I have a wife and a couple of kids. He's like, I have nothing to do with fucking TikTok. I have made no financial gain from TikTok. He was like, he's like, my records, like everyone can check my shit. I've never had anything to do with TikTok. So I'm sure I'm sure he did fucking something, but
yeah,
I don't like he's a good storyteller too. So the way he made it seem, I mean, it was like, why would that dude fuck around with some TikTok bullshit? He already has a bunch of money anyways.
Kind of like most rich people are all charismatic.
Yeah.
Oh, it seems to be a common trait.
They're a smooth talker.
Yeah. Well, you know, I thought this story was kind of interesting, but like, you know, one thing, like I said, I'm about to shit on Tate hardcore. All right, I don't know anything about his brother, but one thing I did notice about Tate in some of the interviews that I saw with him was he was very critical and outspoken of like Western, like world governments.
Mm-hmm. And women.
Yeah. And now I do think he makes some interesting points that
he
I
does.
probably agree with, but he does say some crazy shit. And I think he might have just pissed off some government officials in Romania, and they were like, let's fucking clip this dude's nuts, man.
Yeah.
You know? Or
some fucking, I mean, he might have did some bullshit over in America and they were pissed off about it too. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, really, who knows? Because, I mean, it's only when the courts, like, the cases are over does it actually become public record.
Yeah. And obviously, I guess if he did prison, I mean, he went over, like, he was locked up behind bars for 90 days or whatever, and then he got on house arrest and now he's out. Like, that makes me think that it was some bullshit charges anyway, because if he did something, like, if he actually was a goddamn human trafficker, I'm pretty sure he would still be in prison.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure, man. I got no doubt on that, man, but God, man, listening to the way this guy talks, I don't think I could be in a room for 5 minutes with that dude, man. That shit, I mean, he was getting my blood boiling just watching him on the screen.
His ego, like, engulfs the room.
You know, and I'm not like a feminist activist or anything like, you know what I mean? Normally, shit just really doesn't even get to me or offend me, but it was just his ego, man.
Like, just the way he presents himself and how he talks.
God, man. I was like, dude, is this guy like is he for real?
He's like super calculating. Like it sound like his responses to shit almost sound automated sometimes. It's actually kind of weird. Like if you actually study like what he's like how he talks and stuff, it's weird.
It's odd. I did watch with this particular like interview that I saw with him. He did mention that his father was a a chess grandmaster.
Really? I didn't know that.
And so his father like taught him chess,
mm-hmm.
and then apparently like applied that growing up throughout his life, like how to be very calculated, and to predict moves.
That actually explains a lot.
And applied it like to his life,
yeah,
you know, like outside of like the chessboard and
mm-hmm.
stuff like that, and kind of talked about how inevitably in Western society it's all like revolves around like the enslavement of people.
Yeah, like working 9 to 5s and shit.
Yeah. Well, like through debt being a big one,
Oh yeah,
like,
the credit system, that kind of shit.
Stereotypes, like buying shit you can't afford with money you don't have. You know what I mean?
To impress people that don't care or don't matter.
Fight Club.
Yeah.
Damn, I need to watch it. That's a good damn movie, wasn't it?
Good shit.
But they just really don't make movies like that anymore, do they?
They can't.
We had it so good, didn't we?
PC bullshit.
We flew too close to the sun. We did. But I do think Andrew Tate embellishes a lot, man.
I would think so. Well,
like I wouldn't be surprised if most of those cars were being leased.
Yeah.
If he rented or Airbnb'd
those mansions and shit.
Yeah, like those two like idiot brothers, like the Island Boys. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, those fools are broke now.
Oh yeah, they were broke as shit. But the whole time they were like broke as fuck, and they were like having like people were like filing cases against them. Like, hey, like you owe us money. Like debt collectors are calling. Like let's pay these people the money that's owed. They were like making like Instagram videos bragging about how much money they had, and like, you know, they're holding up like bricks of cash, like, oh yeah, like we're doing so good, you know, but they sure as fuck had to get those diamonds ripped out of their teeth.
Yeah, they were a fucking detriment to society. They made so many little kids think that they could be famous and get rich from being a complete talentless fucking moron.
God, and they're not even good musicians, man.
Dude, they played a show and got immediately booed off. They're fucking terrible. They can't do shit. Dude, they have zero talent whatsoever, besides just looking like a pair of fucking morons.
They can't even present themselves like in a professional manner. Like, I mean, I know we talk some shit on this show and we cuss a lot and stuff, but like if we went on a legit show, we could like talk. You know what I mean? Like depending on like what the environment is. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, oh fuck, are we on the news? Maybe I can't say douchebag. I mean, you know what I mean? Yeah. But like if we're on a podcast, fuck it, you know, like, let everything go.
I'm not saying we're fucking geniuses over here, but we're smarter than those motherfucking island boys. So, God,
I hate it. This song sucks so fucking bad. I used to go to like clubs and stuff, you know, years ago, and like I would like hear like it would come on, and I'd be like, "What the fuck is this piece of shit?"
What the fuck song do they even make?
I think it's like literally called Island Boy. I'll play it for you later. Once you hear it, you'll be like, "Oh, I know."
Oh, this was that bullshit.
Piece of shit. Like I'm an island boy. Boy. It's like that's literally all it is.
I hate it already.
Yeah. Oh, dude, it's just complete utter dog shit. But so I do think Tate like embellishes too. But I also, based on like what he was talking about, especially with the casinos, the way I saw it was he doesn't own those casinos
because he's indebted to the mob.
To the mob, yeah. You know, and that kind of reminds me of the story of like my grandmother. I mean, I know I told you a little bit about that, but. Like, have I really, like, gone through, like, the whole story about how, like, my grandmother got started?
No, I remember you told me you were young and you would go around and she would collect her cash from various stores and establishments.
Yeah. So I'll leave the city out, but I will say somewhere in New England on the East Coast, right?
Your grandma was running some shit.
Grandma was running some shit. Started in the 70s. So this is before the RICO Act and all that. It's when the American Mafia was like
the 70s,
thriving.
Where so many great stories begin.
And damn, dude, I couldn't even imagine being alive during that time, dude. I would have made it out of my 20s, dude. There's no way. Well, like, so, you know, this story, you know, to kind of, I don't know, like, paint a little bit of a picture, man. You know, she was a single mom, and, you know, she didn't have a college education, didn't have a lot of opportunities, stuff like that. But she was a hard worker, man. Mm-hmm. And so she knew some people, because I think she started managing they called them lounges back then, but it was kind of like think of like a bar that might have a dance floor. They usually have like a live band, stuff like that.
Yeah.
You don't see a whole lot of those too much anymore or whatever. It's kind of like an older thing or whatever. Typically they serve food and all that.
Yeah.
And so she was managing it. She was working her ass off, but she was like exceptional at like hospitality and customer service.
Oh, so she was extremely personable?
Yes.
Okay.
And she like knew everyone's names, knew everyone's wives and their girlfriends.
Oh shit.
Like
and she kept it good too.
Oh yeah, she kept it cool, man. Had that confidentiality the whole nine yards, right? And so she started getting to know like some of these guys that were in the New England Mafia, and so they loaned her some money to front up a sports book. So she's running this lounge, and now she's running a sports book. And, you know, they teach her the ropes and all this other stuff. And eventually she starts making some money. Mm-hmm. It's like pretty good money. Like in the 70s, like she's getting to the point where she's like making like a couple of grand a week kind of thing.
Oh, hell yeah.
Fuck yeah. I mean, what do you think that would be? Like 10 G's a week today?
Probably.
You know? And so she's like, well, I'm going to start opening my own businesses. So she fronts up some money. She goes back to the Mafia, gets some loans, and they're at this point they trust her, right?
Yeah.
And so she starts opening all these businesses on like straight up like unsecured
like credit lines basically through them
with the mob, like paying them percentage and all this other stuff, right? And so she opens several businesses. So she had like a nightclub, she had several bars, pool halls, she had an ice cream parlor, I think some storage units at one point.
Okay. So she was pretty diversified.
Oh yeah. But some bad investments, economies kind of turn around. In the 80s, there was a big economic crisis.
Ice cream game wasn't what it used to be.
Yeah, and then things just started kind of going downhill, man. And I'll bring this all back to Andrew Tate. This is how this all relates to Tate. And in the end, the mob, they wanted their money. And it was literally like, okay, well, we're coming in to liquidate.
So do you think she dreamt too big and tried to spread out too much, or or was it a case of it was just literally the economy and she couldn't stay afloat due to economics across the board?
I think it was the economy.
Okay.
But mostly combined with predatory lending.
Okay.
Because you got to think, when there's an economic crisis, usually the federal government steps in and starts regulating banks, providing relief, especially for businesses and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, with the mob,
they don't do that shit.
They don't do that shit. You fucking pay us. And,
yeah.
You know what I mean? And so they came in and they snatched everything up, man. And it was actually kind of a sad story because I believe in the early 80s she was a millionaire. And by the time she passed away in the early 2000s, she didn't even have a dime to her name.
God damn, that's sad.
Because they came back and they got everything.
Man.
And for years, my family was getting phone calls from people,
asking for shit,
banks, yep, be like, hey, we're old business associates, shit like that.
She owes us this amount of money
or
whatever. Damn.
And so, what I think is going to happen with Tate and those casinos, if he in a perfect world, if he runs everything right. The day he dies, all that goes back to the mob.
True.
If he fucks that up, no, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes missing.
So it would be smart of him, I guess, in theory, for him to go and be like, look, I don't want this anymore. You guys just take it. He's already made his fucking money. Yeah. At this point, he has reached a level of fame due to, social media. And, he's getting interviewed by everybody. He has his, he doesn't really need the casino at this point, I would say.
I don't think that's how it really works, my man. Because, they built this. Now it's a liability for them.
Yeah.
And then now, if he just tries to step out, now they have all this other responsibility to inherit on something that they didn't even want in the first place.
But if they already owned 400 of them and they were, and they're profitable, if he basically steps out at the peak, I don't know.
I mean, it's the mob. I'm sure you can negotiate just
True.
about anything.
You're like, I got a kid I don't really like too much. How about you take that thing and we'll call it good?
But yeah, man. But I will say this, even though I like to shit on Tate, dude, but I do think he makes some good fucking points, and some shit he says is crazy. He talks about women are the property of men. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What'd you just say, dude? Or he'll be like, I'm allowed to have 10 girlfriends, but the only men my girlfriend can talk to is her
me.
brother, her father, and me.
Yeah.
Right? And it's just what kind of fucking world do you live in, man? But I don't know, some points he makes about men need to be men and step up and handle business and do all
I do agree
shit.
with that end of it.
Yeah.
I feel like he probably just needs to lay off the woman shit a little bit.
Well, because now we're running into the problem really in our generation, because we're technically millennials, right?
Yep.
So you take millennials and go back all the way to Generation Z or whatever. I guess that's the youngest one, right? Kind of coming up.
I think I don't know.
It's the late teens, early adults is Generation Z.
Yeah.
Well, dude, most of them they don't want any responsibility. They don't want to do jack shit. It's insane.
Yeah, it's they kind of live in a sheltered bubble that has been created for them, I guess. But I don't understand. I was fucking interesting fact. I was listening to someone talk and they said that most teenagers now don't even care about their license, getting a license. I remember when I was 16,
what?
I couldn't wait to drive.
So when you say they don't care about getting a license, they don't want a driver's license?
No.
At all?
In fact, a recent study said 60% of American 18-year-olds don't even have a license.
60%?
Yeah.
Dude, when we were growing up, everyone was give me a fucking license.
At 15, I had my permit.
Me too.
And then I learned how to drive. So the day I turned 16, I got my license. And then the day I was also grounded for 3 months, so I couldn't fucking drive because my parents were assholes. But I had the license. I just couldn't fucking use it. But then after that, because then you get the car, you get a job, you start working, you start making money. Yeah. You start living your real fucking life. You don't get babied anymore. It's awesome.
Kind of what you want to do.
Yeah, you're independent.
Yeah. I enjoy it. I remember the first cars we had, they were kind of pretty cheap and stuff. Because we had the, for the audience, I guess, Moses and I, we had the same first job together.
Yeah.
Sacking groceries at the local grocery store. You remember that shit?
Oh, it was mind-numbing.
Yeah. That's not even a job there anymore.
Really?
Yeah, they don't sack groceries anymore.
Who does it? Nobody.
Nobody.
Nobody?
No, sorry.
Oh, or does the cashier do it?
They will sack them, but there's not remember how we used to have to take them to people's cars?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Unload them and do it. They don't do that shit anymore there.
Really?
Yeah. Apparently they quit during COVID.
Mm.
And they just never brought it back.
Damn.
Yeah, man.
That was like part of the whole thing of going to a grocery store is some little kid would fucking sack your shit up and you'd give him $1 to go unload your groceries out of the car.
Do you remember how much we got paid working there when we started?
Was it $5.25 or was it $7?
It was $5.15.
$5.15?
Right when we started, it was $5.15. Then immediately after, I don't know if it's the federal government or Texas, but they passed a law. They bumped the minimum wage to $5.25 an hour.
Yeah. Okay.
Right, and then later on, it went to $7.25, and then it hasn't been raised in a decade and a half.
At least, yeah. It has been a while. Yeah, because minimum wage in Texas is still $7.15 or
$7.25.
$7.25.
I mean, that's
okay.
the federal minimum wage. Yeah.
Okay, which is low as shit.
Yeah, dude. You can work full-time job and still
not live,
not even pay the average rent.
Yeah.
But
that's still that's the whole point of progression. For a 16-year-old kid, that's totally fucking fine because you don't have any goddamn bills. I had to pay my car insurance and my phone bill, but that was my parents still at least fed me and kept a roof over my head. So I mean, you had to worry about that. But
the thing is too, when you're gonna pay someone minimum wage, you're gonna get minimum wage quality of work.
Very true.
Remember what we used to do?
Yeah. We would literally stand in the back of the parking lot and drool on ourselves because it was so fucking stupid. I remember
cigarettes.
Yeah, we would look at each other and be like, I fucking hate this place.
They made us wear uniforms there.
Oh yeah. Khaki pants and a lime green shirt.
God, dude, I fucking hated it. And the manager of that place was a dick.
He was.
That guy is still there. I went there the other day and I saw him. I was like, holy shit.
That makes me feel good.
You're still alive. I mean, he kind of looks like he's kind of balling, man. It was a gold wristwatch on one arm and a gold wrist bracelet on another, a gold necklace. He was wearing designer shoes or some shit and stuff. I was
well, he still goes home to a 1-bedroom studio, so I don't care.
That guy was such a dick.
He just wastes his money on frivolous bullshit.
I guess in his defense though, he's managing punk ass fucking teenagers.
Very true. It's not I guess
because he was
16.
cool with the older people. He was always, really, you know what I mean? Because there were some old people who were in their 40s working there or whatever, but you're dealing with fucking 16-year-olds all day.
That is true.
But I remember one time, man, I had this, because you remember when I was a kid, I had that amateur sponsorship or whatever, skateboarding or whatever.
Yeah.
From a local business. Nothing crazy. And there was a skate competition that I wanted to go to. But I had to work. I had to go sack groceries. At this point, I'm ready to quit this job. I'm this shit sucks, dude. And so I call in and I give them a heavy notice. I mean, we're just sacking groceries. There's high turnover. You can get replacements for your shift very easy. And we're talking, what, maybe 4-hour shifts?
Yeah, not long.
So you're driving all the way out there, 15 miles.
For $20.
$20,
15 after taxes.
So I call and I'm like, all right, I'm going to call in. And I'd never called in. I'd never been late, never had any issues whatsoever. And as if the universe had a sense of humor, he answers. And I'm like, great. The general manager of this massive grocery store answers. Not the 4 assistant managers or
who are all young, cool kids, a little bit older than 19-year-olds that would be totally cool with it.
None of those guys. This guy. So I tell him, and I'm like, fuck it. So I put on my best acting skills, which are dog shit. And I tell him, I'm like, hey man, I was I'm really close to my aunt. She just had a heart attack. I give him the name of the hospital that she's at. I was like, I got to go up there. I was like, she doesn't really have anyone. I was like, unfortunately, I can try to make it in. I was like, but if I'm gonna be in, I'm gonna be several hours late. I might only be there for an hour. And he was like, oh, that's understandable. He was like, well, just get a note from the doctor and bring it in next time you show up.
A note from the doctor?
And then he hung up. And then I was like, I had very mixed emotions because here I am lying to this man because I want to go to a skateboarding competition across town, right? to win like a free T-shirt or some shit. And at the same time, I just told him that a very close relative of mine had a heart attack, and then he was like, "Okay, well, put that on hold and get a note from like the cardiologist that says she had
Yeah,
it."
like, I'm sorry, I hate to pause you while you're trying to save my grandmother's life, but I need a doctor's note so I can go back to my $5 an hour job.
Yeah, dude. So I don't know, but I mean, I get it, but I didn't even. I was like, whatever. I didn't even show back up. I had a friend of mine. Like, she was she wasn't an assistant manager, but she's like a shift supervisor. She's one of those like ones you were talking about. Like, I think she was actually like 19, 20.
Mm-hmm.
And I told her, I was like, hey, like I'm done. She's like, okay, you're good. She's like, I'll just scratch you from the schedule. She's like, it happens all the time. It's not a big deal. And then like 6 months later, they called me and asked me if I wanted to fill in a shit. And I was like, what?
They're like, hey, we forgot your name. It was found on an old piece of trash in the back. Like, you're still on a schedule.
But yeah, whatever. I mean, it opened up me working for like other jobs and stuff like that. And then I got into like the restaurant industry and realized that was a fucking not a good choice.
The reason I quit that job was pretty entertaining as well. So I took mushrooms the night before, and I had to work. The 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. shift, and turns out I didn't sleep at all. So I was driving the car to work, still tripping. It was fucking 5:30 in the morning, and I was like seeing waves and all this shit.
Oh, so you're having full on visuals.
Yeah, I was still fucking like, I had taken some at night, and then I took more at like 3 in the morning.
So we're talking like dilated pupils.
Oh, like goddamn saucers, man. Like, if I looked anyone in the eyes, they would be like, holy shit, what is wrong with this kid? But I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna go to work anyways. So I get there, show up on time, and they're like, oh, today is gonna be your first day of training to work the gas station. So I'm like, so the gas station inside, it's outside of the grocery store, but there's a little box, and one person stands in there and takes money and runs order, like, you know what it looks like.
Yeah.
So
well,
I was supposed to be in there, so I was in a little fucking cute. Well, luckily my trainer was an old woman, so she had no idea that I was just on tripping my balls off.
She didn't even know what she was looking for.
Yeah, she was like, "Oh, your eyes are quite large." I'm like, "Yeah, I haven't."
Nice young man showing up to a job.
I haven't had a chance to adjust to the light yet, ma'am. I'm sorry.
Imagine she talks like Mary Poppins.
She did.
There you go.
But anyway, so I was in this box for hours, and man, I couldn't get anything done. I literally wanted to die first off because it was just miserable in there.
Yeah.
And
Dude,
I remember walking in and like everything, because you know when you're tripping, like lights are super, everything's brighter, it's hard to see.
Everything's intensified.
Yeah, you can't I couldn't even read, like my pupils are too big. So
you can hear better, like you hear like a bat, you know what I mean? Like it's just like you're hearing shit that isn't there.
Yeah. It's all super fucking cool, but not when you're trying to work a gas station.
Sometimes it's cool.
Yeah.
You ever had it where it's not?
Oh yeah, I have.
Yeah,
I've thought I was dying multiple times before. I've thought that my teeth were gonna fall out, like all kinds of random ass shit. I got stories for days on doing mushrooms, but
we should do an episode over drugs.
Yeah, we should.
It seems to be a popular topic, you know, like everyone's talking about it or whatever. So
yeah, I know we both got a lot of stories about that. We'll have to save that for another time.
Allegedly, we both have a lot of stories about that.
This was years ago. Years.
In the land far, far away. Oh man, but you know, like I don't know, you know, like we were talking about Tate, we're talking about like, you know, us being punk ass kids and ourselves, you know, like, but I mean, like we turned out like pretty good, you know.
I would like to say so.
And you know, I mean, I think for the most part, but I mean, we had to go through like some shit, you know.
Yeah.
But a lot of young people, not so much the guys in college, because like I do go to like a legit university.
Mm-hmm.
So I think those kids, you know, they got parents putting the thumb screws on them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, I think a lot of those kids were like honor roll kids, stuff like that, you know? And, but like, you know, when we were like in the military, like even working other jobs and stuff, like a lot of the young kids, man, they're just like, they're fucked up, man. Like they're just like total, like, unmotivated, confused.
Dude, they're scumbags. You have to yell at them to do their fucking job. Like, it was ridiculous. Getting out and having the new troops come in, I fucking hated all of them. There was probably like, out of every 6 new guys, there would be one that actually was a good person. Like a good like worker, would show up on time, do what he was supposed to, not bitch about it, not have to be on their ass the whole time. And the rest of them, dude, were just lazy as fuck. Just want to be on the phone the whole time.
Yeah, dude. And then like you run into the people, like, I don't know, did you ever run into like people who like were getting in trouble because like poor hygiene, like they would like either they just wouldn't like shower or they would like clean their dorms or whatever.
Yeah,
you know
it's weird. Like I know there seemed like there's always one person in it, no matter where you were at, and there was one guy in the shop that just smelled like shit.
Yeah.
It was a young kid always, because any grown man with a family, their wife's gonna be like, "Yo, wash, motherfucker."
Yeah, for sure.
But it was weird. I don't know.
Well, did I ever tell you the story about Oscar the Grouch?
No. The Sesame Street character.
Might as well be. I mean, well, you know, the idea about him was he lived in a fucking trash can, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I got a story for you on this one, man. So it is 2015, 2016. It's back when I was telling you like crazy shit with Trump was going down. And everything.
Oh yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, that started to cool off, and I was getting out of there. Or whatever. That was my last month, and you know, the people I worked with called a squadron, at least like in the Air Force.
Mm-hmm.
There's about 400 of us, right? And but the shop that I worked in, we only had about 10 people, and we had this one kid. His name was Henry, and oh my god, this guy was. He was I don't even know where to start. He wasn't bad as the Abad guy that we talked about in this episode. Which, by the way, we did do the story of Abad, which was a long 30-minute story. I do have a part 2 to that. So if people want to hear that, drop a like and a comment, and I'll give you a part 2 to that. And none of those stories are made up. All right, none of my stories from the military are made up. Like, they're all 100% true. Because I like to be honest with people.
Well, dude, we haven't said any made up shit so far.
I know, like, dude, it's crazy because like people ask me, you know, like they're like, oh, you're doing like your podcast or whatever. Like, man, like, you know, you got that's like a bunch of hours of talking and stuff. And I was like, they're like, you know, you make stories, you have a script. I'm like, no, we
there's no fucking script, no made up shit.
The script starts 3 minutes before we start, and I'm like, what do you want to talk about, dude? And you're like, well, fuck, I don't know. Like, let's try this.
We're like, well, let's just start talking and see what happens.
Yeah, man.
It always works.
Yeah, it works out.
So anyway, the stinky kid.
Oh yeah. So anyway, back to Oscar the Grouch, right? So, you know, all the people I work with, you know, like the 400 of us, like we have like a little booster club, like little like private org to raise money, you know, to do things like if we want to have like a cookout.
Yeah, little morale boosting things.
Yeah, you know, they make T-shirts,
going aways,
coins,
that kind of shit. Yeah,
sure, yeah, plaques and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And so anyway, one thing they used to do, and I'm sure your guys probably did this stuff too, man. I think it seemed like a big maintenance thing. Is they would have where you could bid on names, right? So a big one was like a pie in the face, right?
Oh yeah.
So it was like the top 3. So whoever the top 3 people who had the most money bid on them, and the bottom 3 who had the least amount of money bid on them. Those 6 people get pied in the face.
Yep.
Right? And so it was a way for them to ensure that they were going to continuously keep raising money, right?
Yeah.
Because you damn straight we're not going to be the bottom one on that list.
Yeah, you go drop a 20 on that thing and get your name out of there. You're like,
don't
worry about me.
Somewhere in the middle, dude. And so anyway, we have, you know, a fundraiser, and it's not a pie in the face, but it's a dunking booth.
Okay.
And he's on the list. He's number 1 on the list. Because I put a fuck ton of money on this list. Because I was like, this kid's taking a bath one way or another. So I'm going to pause that part of the story right there. So just know that, like, we're sitting in an office. He has it's anonymous, so he has no idea who's putting this fucking money on there. And he's, like, calling people, like, trying to, like, get other names up on the list, and he'll, like, get it solved because they're updating it.
Because so he doesn't want this.
He does not want this at all.
He's afraid to take a shower.
Yes. So they're updating this list. We all have access on a shared drive. They're updating this list in real time. So he's seeing it. He's like, oh, thank God. I'm like,
and then people are putting more money on him.
He's going back, and I'm like texting my friend, like, yeah, I got you, man. I'll get you 100 after work. But like, you know, I'm just like, you can't put a price on entertainment, but live entertainment like that. So anyway, like the kid, he starts having like some issues or whatever, and you know, overall he was a nice guy.
Mm-hmm.
He actually could do his job. He was very, very savvy.
So he was totally proficient at his job. He just had a hygiene issue.
It just whenever it came to once the uniform was off, his life was shit.
Okay.
Like, he drank way too much. Like, he smoked 2 packs. A kid was, like, 20 years old. Or I think he was, like, 21, actually. But what was the drinking age in Korea? Was it 21?
It was 21 in Korea.
So, yeah, he was 21. Yep. He was 21 then. And so he was smoking 2 packs a day, never exercising at all, right? Drinking, like, heavy whiskey all the fucking time. But,
was he fat?
No.
Okay, he
dude.
just had the skinny kid do
He was,
whatever.
like, maybe like
metabolism
5'3", like 110.
Oh
120
goddamn.
pounds.
Okay.
Yeah, he was a small dude. He was from Hawaii, right?
Okay.
And this is you can call it a stereotype if you want. This is where I found out Hawaiians. I don't know if you know this. Very big into country music.
Dude, I had no idea about that.
Didn't see
and
that
I would have
shit
never
coming.
guessed that either.
Like Hank Williams Jr., Garth Brooks, all that shit.
So like old school country.
I got friends in low places.
They're like, they weren't talking about Hawaii, dude. They meant Alabama.
So like he would go out, like Korea is extremely, karaoke is extremely popular in Korea.
Oh yeah.
So he would go out and he would just like sing
country
music. And it was so horrible. Like it was horrible. Like he was not a good singer. Like it was just like not a good fit, man. Not good at all. But I went through.
Did he dress country?
No.
Okay.
No, he didn't. It would have made the story better if he did. If he came out like a fucking
a Hawaiian and
hat,
cowboy boots and shit.
Hawaiian shirt, bolo tie,
Yeah.
boots on and shit. Holding a surfboard. What they have. So yeah, I went through a little bit of a karaoke phase too over there because I just get drunk and I just have fun with it, right? And we get remember that story I told you about me doing karaoke in New Orleans?
Yes.
I talked about it on the podcast.
Yep.
A few episodes back. So this is probably like 2 years after that.
Okay.
So I'm still like in the karaoke.
So your
phase.
career is still blooming on the karaoke.
I'm still thinking I got a shot. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I damn sure got a voice for radio. Sounded like a 12-year-old girl over here who smokes a pack a day. But so anyway, so I'm going out with him, and he's just getting wasted. He's karaoke all the time. And even I'm like, hey man, like you might want to like slow it down, dude. And that was a lot at the time coming from me. But he's like, whatever. And I'm like, fuck it, kid's young, have fun with it. So he's got the dreaded PT test coming up, right? And our PT tests weren't bad, man. It was like what, like
No, dude. Air Force PT test, that shit was easy. It was 33 push-ups. Oh, it goes by age, but for our age at the time, it was like 33 push-ups, 60 sit-ups, 50, and a mile and a half run time in under 14.
It was like
or
13:36. 13:36.
I think
yeah, that's what it was. The dreaded 13:36.
So totally attainable. Like,
yeah, like all you got to do is casually work out for like 3 weeks prior.
Yeah.
And you could pass that shit, no problemo, right? And just like cut off the drinking and the shitty food, you'll be all right, man. Trust me, I did that shit for a fucking decade.
Yeah.
So anyway, he's got this fucking PT test coming up, right? And everybody, like, you know how it is, like in the military, everybody starts getting on your ass.
Yeah, they're like,
be good.
Every day, you're like, hey,
yeah,
check that gut, motherfucker.
Well, because administratively, it becomes a problem.
Oh yeah.
Because
if you fail, your supervisor gets bitched at, and then they like it just fucking goes uphill.
Your
like
entire chain basically is called in the commander's office.
Yeah.
And then you get put on the mandatory PT schedule, so now you're missing work. So everyone else.
And then everyone else fucking hates you. Yeah.
Dude. And the mandatory shit lasts fucking months and months.
And then until you're able to retest and pass that shit.
Yeah. And so everybody's like asking him, like, hey man, you good? And he's like, yeah, I'm fine. So this fucking PT test comes up, man. And he fails the sit-ups like instantly. Right? Like I don't even think got even half. And then he fails the push-ups. Right, passes the waist because he's skinny as fuck.
Yeah.
And then he comes up for the run, and I don't want to say he faked this shit, but I think my man saw an opportunity to possibly get out of this shit, right? Because if you had a medical issue during your test, you could basically contest it and then just
say it was invalid or whatever.
You invalidate the test, and then you could retest like a month.
So you could buy yourself some time.
Yeah, I think it was like 45 days. So he's coming up and he's running, and of course, like it's just a shit show, right? And he gets around. I don't even know if he even made it halfway, and he's coming around the corner, and it's so funny. I wasn't there, but a bunch of people that I worked with were, like guys that I worked for. And they said this dude came around the corner, and then he just grabs his heart and just like stops, and then he just falls over.
God, okay. Dude, that would have... Fuck, I wish I could see that on video. That sounds amazing. And
we laugh now because we found out it was all bullshit later. It was all fucking bullshit later. But at the time, we were kind of what we're like, fuck, dude, does this guy have a heart attack? You know?
Is he gonna die?
Yeah, dude. Like, my phone's blowing up. They're like, yo, dude, Henry's like in the hospital, like legit,
Jesus.
like ICU, like you know what I mean, or whatever. I don't know, emergency room. So I don't know. You think like, oh, someone's gonna go over and like check on him, whatever, and be like, oh, you cool, like get up or whatever. Like, nah, man. They instantly call 911. They bring out the ambulance. They got him on the stretcher and shit, right?
So at this point, he's wasting time, resources, and money.
Yeah. so they take his ass to an off-base hospital, right?
Oh shit.
Yeah. So this becomes a whole fucking thing because he needs I guess a cardiologist look at his shit or something. I don't know, dude. Because he's like, oh, I'm having chest pains, and I'm thinking in my head like.
It's probably gut pains. Whenever you're out of shape and running, your side starts hurting. That's probably what that shit was.
And so anyway, he was really good friends with a girl in our shop, right? And so they were like, "Hey, someone has to go to him, get like his key to his dorm, get all his shit or whatever, and then go to his dorm room, get him like clothes, get him what he needs, and bring it to his hospital room, right? Because he's gonna be here for a few days." And so this girl goes and sees him, and she said the fucking last thing out of his mouth was, "Don't let them in my room."
Oh god.
Talking about like all of us, like all the supervisors and shit like that. Because I was a kid's supervisor or whatever. And so we were laughing, and like me and another buddy of mine, because we were both like staff sergeants, we were like, what the fuck? Like, how bad can that be? And so she goes over there to his room, and we're with her, because you can't be alone or whatever. You have to have like a NCO, like non-commissioned officer with you, whatever, at least. And she stops, she puts the key in, opens it, and she stops, and she was like, Henry told me not to let you guys in.
I'd be like, all right, awesome. Open the fucking door.
That's literally, I didn't do it, but my buddy, his name was Jeremy. He was like, fuck that, and pushed it open, dude.
Yeah.
And the image I saw, I cannot get out of my head. And I swear to God, dude, this is no exaggeration. That shit was an episode of Hoarders.
So
it was bad, man.
It was like, okay, so it was a quad dorm. So right? Was it one of the quads? So like
it was one of the double ones.
Okay, so you opened it and you had a bedroom and a bathroom. Was his?
No. So his was just like a bedroom with like a little sink, and then shared a bathroom with another room.
Okay.
So kind of like, hotel rooms have doors that connect or whatever. Just imagine there's a bathroom between the two of them or whatever. And so we go in there, dude, and it's just piles and piles of dirty clothes, old pizza boxes, Popeyes boxes. Like, there's bugs, man. Like, oh yeah, dude. There's like, the mattress isn't even on the bed, and it's a bare mattress. I'm like, what the fuck?
What the fuck?
I look around, man. There's bottles and bottles just filled with like piss and stuff.
Are you serious?
And like fingernail like clippings everywhere.
Dude.
All kinds of shit, dude. It was bad, dude. It was bad. And then so like we got out, was like, what the fuck, dude? And then like I talked to the other guy, and he was like, man, he's like, yo, we're just gonna have to handle this like when he gets done or whatever. And so he comes back, and at this point, like, everyone fucking knows, because now it's like a health thing. We know about it.
Yeah.
It has to be reported, like it's government property. You know what I mean? And because like, in the military, you get caught covering shit up like that for people, like, you'll get fucked.
Oh, for sure.
Hard. And so it's like Gestapo, right?
And I'm for.
Where's your papers?
Yeah. We're like, this fool has a disgusting ass room. I don't want no part of that.
So like my buddy like instantly rats on him. I was like, I was like,
dude, in that situation, I would like, if it's nasty, disgusting ass shit like
bad.
that,
it was bad.
I ain't gonna cover for you.
It was bad.
If it's like some other kind of shit, I'll cover for you. But
there was like,
that.
those 1 liter like water bottles.
Yeah.
I saw 6 of those full of dip spit.
God. And you said like piss bottles and stuff? Yeah. He has a fucking bathroom.
I know. It was like mental illness, like textbook mental illness.
Yeah.
So anyway, of course I'm young and I don't understand the human condition all that well at that point in my life. So he comes back or whatever, and he's like waiting on his results, right? And I'm like, I'm not fucking with this guy yet. Okay?
You're letting it build.
Letting the suspension build. Because he'd be sitting at the computer doing work, and then he would just stop and grab his chest and be like, oh.
Oh, dude, I'd be like,
go back
dude,
to work, right? Like,
you can't just have heart attacks like, shut the fuck up.
And so, like, so one day, like, he just started pissing me off or whatever. I don't know, he popped something off one day, and then he was just, like, hunched over holding his chest, like, at his desk or whatever. He was acting. He was trying to sell it.
Yeah.
Right? And I was like, hey, Henry, you already got out of your PT test. You don't need to keep faking heart attacks.
Yeah, like, that ain't how that works anyways.
Turned around, gave me the look of, like, go to hell. Like, whatever. And so, I don't know. So we started, like, beefing a little bit, right? And I was just like, all right, I'm going to fuck with this guy hardcore, man. So anyway, his test results come back. totally fine. The doctor was like, you actually have an extremely healthy heart considering everything. He was
considering what you fucking do anyway.
He was like, you need to quit smoking and quit drinking, eat healthier, and moderately exercise. And he was like, you can probably live a fucking long time as far as heart disease goes. So anyway.
So in that situation, if the doctor said he's bullshit, what do they do on the PT test?
Oh no, they went back on his PT test and they counted it.
Okay.
As a total failure. Yeah. So he had to like retest again and shit. Like, so all that crap. But anyway, he so obviously he gets talked to about his room, like it gets cleaned up, all this other shit, right? And that fundraiser comes around. And they got this Dunkin' booth. Right? Now this is why I'm keeping this dude as number one, right? I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get him back, all right? Like I'm gonna fuck with him or whatever. So anyway, because he was getting a little testy.
Plus, the dude needs a fucking bath, it sounds like. Like, you're doing him a favor at this point, not even being mean.
And so anyway, it's getting close because they had a cutoff time, right? And he's like fucking freaking out, dude. And everyone in the shop is laughing their they're just laughing their asses off.
Does everyone know that it's you that's been him besides him?
Everyone knew but him. So everyone was in on this fucking joke.
That's
dude.
awesome.
People started giving me money. They're like, hey man, put 20 on that shit. Because he started pissing people off. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, can't piss off the tribe, man. You know
exactly.
what I'm saying? And that never ends well for anybody. And so anyway, it's coming close to time. And he's like, man, I really don't want to do this shit. I don't want to do this shit, man. He's like, this is embarrassing or whatever. And so I tell him, break the news to him. I say, I give you two options. Okay. One, I'll put enough money on other people below you to get you out of the ring at the last moment to ensure that you don't have to do this. Or, actually, no, sorry. I told him I would do that, but he had to do something for me, which was wear a costume that I bought about a month ago.
And you didn't tell him what it was?
No. And the costume was Oscar the Grouch with a trash can like around him.
With the fucking trash can hat thing too? Or the lid hat?
Yes, dude. So it had the whole 9 yards.
But he didn't know that. You just told him you had to wear a costume that I bought.
I told him what the costume was.
Oh, okay.
I was like, so you can either wear this costume or get the fuck in that Dunkin' booth. I was like, or you can come up with the money and bail yourself out because he had financial problems. I was like, which I know you don't fucking have.
Be like, or you can just go home and take a motherfucking bath.
No. We're in too deep at this fucking point.
He's too far gone.
He
had his chance.
Or he's being Oscar the fucking Grouch.
He had his chance to bathe.
So the kid did not want to do the goddamn Dunkin' booth like at all, man. So like he ended up having to wear the Oscar the Grouch at like this fucking barbecue and shit, dude. Everybody was asking him why the fuck are you wearing this shit.
The Oscar the Grouch costume would be way worse than just going in the fucking Dunkin' booth, man.
I didn't understand it.
The Dunkin' booth, that's like a
one and done.
Yeah, one and done thing. Like people know what it is. There's a reason you're doing it. It's for
basically charity.
Fundraising.
Yeah, fundraising. Yeah. It's not really embarrassing.
No, it's not. And there's gonna be 5 other people doing it alongside him too. Like there's nothing wrong with it.
It was so funny because he was like running around drinking and like I remember he had like a cocktail in one hand and he had a cigarette in another and he's dressed like Oscar the Grouch and he's running around.
So he was like the adult version of the Sesame Street dude. Like
so only the people in my shop like they knew about the fundraiser. They did not know about the costume.
Oh, so that was so it just surprised everyone.
That was a last minute surprise to everybody.
Dude, and especially so the people that knew him know like they knew about his room. They knew he fucking stinks and shit. And then he shows up as Oscar the Grouch.
Yes.
Dude, I would lose my shit. That's awesome.
Oh yeah, people were pissing their pants.
That's fucking hilarious.
But he passed his fucking PT test and he got his fucking shit cleaned up and never had those fucking problems again, from what I heard.
Really?
Yeah. A little bit of embarrassment goes a long way, dude.
True.
Oh my god.
Well, dude. I'm glad he cleaned his act up.
Dude.
Fuck, man.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, like, I don't know. There's just different ways to manage something. Like, some young guys, you know, you can tell them, you can just be, like, straight up with them. Like, hey, do this. And they're like, yes, sir. And, like, it's over.
Yeah.
And then some people, you got to tell them a million times. And then some people, like, they just can't do it or whatever, you know. So you got to get creative on what you can and can't do and all this other shit.
Yeah,
you know
like
what I mean?
That's an extreme story. Like I've been around people that needed a shower and shit, but it was just like, hey man, I've had to tell people, I'm like, hey, take a fucking shower, dude. You smell like shit. No one wants to be around you.
Oh yeah.
But like, not to that fucking extent. But dude, like there's dorm inspections.
Mm-hmm.
So he would clean it up, and then after that he would just go back to living in squalor.
They started slacking.
Oh, okay. Like just signing like pencil whip and shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
They had an issue with like the dorm manager, and they didn't have people coming around. And,
Oh, I gotcha.
yeah, it was really bad. And these were the dorms. This was like the last rotation of people before these dorms got condemned too. So they did not give a
So
shit.
there was some black mold in them motherfuckers too, I bet.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. But Korea was an interesting time, man. There was just crazy shit, man.
Korea was fucking fun. I loved it.
It's a very safe country.
It's a very safe country. It's a very dangerous place for military members because we act like fucking idiots down there.
Yes.
Like, typically you're away from most of the time you're away from your family. All there is to do is drink in your off time.
Yeah.
It's just but it's fun as fuck if you can stay out of trouble.
Yeah, usually the alcohol makes it worse, you know what I mean?
It does.
Shit, I ever tell my buddy who gave our commander that fucking coin?
No.
That highly offensive coin?
What kind of coin?
Oh my god, dude. So, I mean, you remember, like, in the military, like, people trade coins.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
and you're supposed to always have one on you.
Yeah, and every unit you work with, there's a different one.
Yep.
And, you know, all this other stuff, and you trade them. Like,
yeah, it's a big deal.
Yeah, I got tons of them that I trade with, like, foreign military and
yeah.
stuff. It's really cool. And so, it's kind of thing to do. Is that just, like, a maintenance thing, really?
No.
It's like just Air Force or military-wide thing?
As far as I know, it's military-wide. Because I've partied with other people. I've partied with, like, fucking dentists, like, dental assistants and that shit, and they had coins, and they coin-checked and did all that shit, too, so...
Oh, okay.
I think everybody does have their own shit.
Well, like, you remember my career field, right?
Yeah.
So, it was weapons,
Mhm.
explosives, right? But, they call it ammo for short, right? And, well, our history in that career field dominated by men, right? And so I'm not saying any of this shit is right, you know? Times have changed.
Yeah.
Whatever. But back in the day, they used to have a coin that was highly offensive that in the middle had a naked, like, stripper, like full nude stripper.
Mm-hmm.
And then around the edge of the coin, it said ammo sucks tits, clits, and beer cans. Right? And so, anyway, some stuff goes down and some people get offended or whatever, and which I get it, you know, times are fucking changing or whatever. Like, you know, by the time I was leaving, it was very common to see, you know, 10-15% of a shop be, you know, women.
Yeah.
So obviously you can't have like dudes like with like fucking Playboy like trifolds like slapped on their lockers, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like shit like that, you know, so whatever. But so anyway, we get this new commander in, and he's a pretty, I mean, he's the textbook what you would think of a commander, but he's also very religious, does not cuss.
So he's just like 100% devoted, military,
boom,
religious,
business.
like, okay.
Yeah. Just straight up business, right?
So he's what the military likes.
Yeah, and he was a nice guy. I mean, he was making rank.
He was just very black and white, no gray area type shit.
I think he was an Air Force Academy graduate. So you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Those guys, yeah, they got screw loose. But so anyway, we have this promotion ceremony, right? And because we had a bunch of guys make rank or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And essentially, like, I don't want to say the cool kids, but the cool kids come out, right? And we all meet up at this one bar. And there's a lot of us. I mean, there's probably, I would say 50 to 100 of us, right?
Mm-hmm.
Throwing it out there. And, you know, people shoot and pull.
Do you remember the name of your shop's bar?
Whiskeys.
Mine was called USA.
Really?
Yeah, it was USA Bar.
I think I've actually been there, dude.
Dude, was yours Whiskey Go-Go?
Yes.
I've been there too.
Yeah,
I remember that shit.
so, like, people drinking soju,
hell
like,
yeah,
rice wine shit or whatever. Like,
soju is fucking awesome.
Woo, buddy, that shit will throw you through the moon. Dude.
It tastes so good and goes down so easy and gets you
good,
wasted
so
as fuck.
good. And it's cheap as fuck.
Yeah.
You can get like a liter of that shit for like $2.
Yes.
Man. It is insane. But anyway, so we're all getting fucking wasted. And our commander decides, you know, like, fucking...
He's going to come out and support.
Some leaders eat last shit, like, decides he wants to go out there.
Uh-huh.
Okay? After we just had this huge briefing about how there's going to be this huge cultural change... No more. These certain slogans aren't going to be allowed. Certain songs and chants we have.
What was like your main slogan for your career
If you
field?
ain't ammo, you ain't shit.
Okay, mine was "Who the hell, POL, what the fuck, big green truck."
So yeah, we got a stern talking to. We were like, hey, it has a curse word in it. You cannot use this anymore.
Yep. Yeah,
Right?
they wouldn't let us say our shit at the squadron functions either.
Yeah, dude. And so, isn't that kind of shitty though?
Yeah, dude.
Like, shit's been around for fuck. And you're just saying shit or like hell or like
Yeah.
what the fuck. You know what I mean? Like I can understand if it's sexualizing or something.
Yeah,
like
but there was
that.
nothing like demeaning or derogatory about it. It was just a fucking cuss word.
Sure,
We're in the
absolutely.
military. People cuss.
Yeah, I used to make the joke. I'd be like, we're in the business of killing people, right?
And
Like,
you're afraid about saying fuck?
Did
Like,
you forget that? Bombing a bunch of poor innocent people you never met, otherwise ever had a problem with. Yeah, that's our line of work.
But don't say damn. That crosses the line.
So this commander comes out, man, and he has one drink. I don't think he was like a drinker by any means.
he was probably like spilling it and pouring it out on the side and shit.
I would be surprised if it was non-alcoholic.
An O'Doul's or something.
And so he has one drink, right? And then my buddy, only guy I ever met named Griffin.
First name Griffin?
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, I never.
Yeah. He was a Jewish guy. Apparently he grew up like, well, hold on. Let me back up. There's a point to that. It's like, all right, listen, everybody chill, okay? It's like, it's not going where you think it's going, all right? But yeah, he grew up like really strict Jewish family and stuff. And then he kind of got out of it and joined the military. And so he was telling me a lot about like Jewish like religion and custom and stuff like that. And I didn't know this, but did you know that like Jews cannot have tattoos?
Huh? No, I'm not surprised.
Yeah. If they have a tattoo, because he had a bunch of like tattoos, right? Just being in the military. Or whatever.
Okay.
If they have a tattoo, they cannot be buried in a Jewish graveyard.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And he would refer to it as a Jewish boneyard. His words, not mine. I was like, what the fuck? And he always would make like Holocaust jokes and stuff. Like, Jesus Christ. So this dude did not give a fuck. Like, he had a very twisted sense of humor. He was a great guy. Like, I love the guy. He's amazing. Still got him on Facebook. Awesome, dude. But, like, a hell of a time. A fun time. You want to talk about a fun time. So, anyway, Commander's there. Everyone's having a good time at this bar. There's, like, this little promotion ceremony, like, off the books, right? Everyone's drinking. And my buddy Griffin is talking to the commander, and he starts thinking that, like, oh, this guy's like us, but can't say it. One of those like wink and a nod, like, you know what I mean?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So my buddy does like our like chant, which ends with "If you ain't ammo, you ain't shit." After he strictly said that we are no longer saying that, like less than 48 hours prior. And then when he gets done with this chant, he grabs his coin out of his pocket and then goes and shakes our commander's hand and slides it to it to give it to him. The one that says "ammo sucks, tits, clits, and beer cans"
with a naked chick on there,
woman on it, right? Dude, that happened on a Friday. We were called in that Saturday morning.
For real?
Yeah.
God
dude.
damn.
And he was like dead ass serious. He was like, "Did you think that I was joking when I said this?" And he gave out the whole scenario. And he was like, "Somebody thought it'd be a good idea." I'm standing right next to Griffin, and I can hear this motherfucker trying not to laugh. And we're all like in formation, like we're all lined up, like what you'd see in the movies and all that stuff, And I'm just like, oh god, please don't fucking laugh, please don't fucking. And like, me, dude, like once someone around me starts laughing,
dude, you're gonna lose it too.
I'm like biting my cheeks, like I'm tasting iron, and I'm like biting so hard, like please God, no, please. So, it was a good time, man. Good old Korea, man.
But I mean, so. That happened off base, right? Or was that the E Club?
No, that was off base.
I'd been like, dude, it was fucking like, it was outside of the work environment, man. Fuck off.
But at the same time, military, their jurisdiction, that is a commissioned officer. Like, there's
true. I'd have been like, we shouldn't have been around here anyways, man.
he never came out again.
So your buddy Griffin, he took one for the team then.
Yeah. Kind of put it in perspective. I think that was like shortly after all that like sexual assault shit came out at like Lackland or whatever. Like
camp. Yeah,
so, like,
the fucking TIs were sexually assaulting the
Air
girls.
Force wide, they cracked down. I actually knew a guy that worked there when that was happening.
He was a TI?
No. He it was I think I talked about him in a previous episode. He was a buddy of mine who was a Seaburn.
Oh, okay.
And he would run like the gas chambers that where you had to put on your like all your chem gear, and they drop like tear gas in there so you can know how it works or whatever. And then you gotta take off your mask and suffer for 5 minutes.
Say your name.
Take a deep breath. Say your name. Oh God! Oh fuck! Oh, it burns! It burns!
Sure did clear your sinuses out.
That might be a good story to tell. Talk about the history of all of that.
True.
Because he worked with like all the TIs that were all the training instructors. Some people call them drill sergeants. That we're referring to.
Yeah.
they got augmented out. So they were immediately removed from, like, they weren't working around training people anymore. So they put them in, like, different places. So they'd have them go, like, hey, for the time being, like, you're going to go process paperwork at, like, the dental clinic.
Oh,
or,
fuck.
like, you're going to go, I don't know, run this at the electrician's office or wherever on base. So my guy who ran all the chemical stuff, he got one of the guys. And the guy was a master sergeant, E7.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to tell too much of the story because I think it'd be a good story later for the podcast. But he was, like, the main guy.
That was doing it?
Yes.
Okay, so he was guilty.
Yeah. Yeah. And he said the guy was, like, a straight up psychopath.
Really?
Yes. He said he had everyone in the shop convinced that he was actually innocent.
Oh,
and they
shit.
all believed him. And then
That's probably how he got away with...
My buddy went to the court case and saw the physical evidence be brought up, and he was like, "Oh my god!" Like he was just shocked. He just couldn't believe another human being would do this shit.
Damn,
it was bad, dude.
That's terrible.
It was really bad. Like it was like aggravated assault. Like it wasn't.
Oh, like forcible type shit.
Like non-consensual and stuff.
Oh,
yeah.
damn.
Like on like
multiple
guys, girls, you name it.
Jesus, anything to get his hands on.
Yeah. Well, that's a good way to end that.